Hello, welcome to University Hospitals of Derby and Burton. My name's Emma Wilmot and I'm a consultant diabetologist here, and I'm joined today by Nicola Taylor, our diabetes dietitian who leads our FreeStyle Libre programme here. So in Derby we have almost 700 FreeStyle Libre users, and we continue to put our data into the Audit tool, and we want to share a bit about our processes here and also how we download and analyse our data. So I'm going to turn to Nicola and ask her to share some of your insights about the processes and setup that we've got here in Derby.
So our Libre service started back in February last year. Initially, it was led by the dietitians, so we would get referrals coming through from the diabetes team, and we would make sure that that referral had been completed fully. So we knew the indication for starting the FreeStyle Libre, that the form had been signed off by one of the consultants, and that the audit data baseline form had been completed fully, so that there was no gaps or any missing data. So once we'd processed those referrals, we would then take them to a once monthly MDT meeting, and that's where individuals would be either approved or not approved if we didn't feel they met one of the criteria in terms of the indications for funding. So once they were approved, we would then add all of those patients onto our Libre database. So we were keeping a database separate to the online audit tool. And on that database, we would then put a start date for the group education. So in Derby, we deliver our FreeStyle Libre starts as a group. We generally have about 10 to 12 patients booked onto those. And that's where we would give them their first sensor and reader. We would sort all of their GP letters out for the ongoing prescriptions, and we would talk about the need to collect the follow-up data in their routine clinics or either over a telephone conversation if we weren't able to see them in the next 3 to 6 months. So we would deliver the group education, get all of the paperwork done. We would get a contract signed as well, so they knew what they were agreeing to for the NHS prescriptions. And then we would update the Libre spreadsheet once all of that had been done.
So Nicola, are you able to share some of the challenges that you faced along the way?
So initially we didn't have any admin time, so the dietitians were doing all of that around the paperwork, about maintaining the spreadsheets. So we were able to use the fact that we weren't able to register all of our patients to our hospital system. So here in Derby we use a system called Lorenzo, and that's what we use to book patients to a clinic code. So the group education starts would be a clinic code, but we didn't have the time to be able to do that registration process. And that meant we weren't able to show that we were spending time with about 50% of our patients that we were seeing in those startup sessions. So we were able to use the fact that we weren't able to use that time or cost that time to be able to then get some admin staff in. So the admin staff now are employed to help us basically process the referrals, to maintain the spreadsheets, and to do all of sort of the GP letters, and more importantly, sort of getting all of that audit data onto the online tool.
That's great, thanks Nicola. And have you got any top tips that you could share with viewers today?
Yeah, so if you can, trying to secure some admin time will help, and that means that as dietitians are then able to do some of the clinical education in those group startup sessions. So securing some admin time is a good idea. Keeping a database alongside the audit tool, and in that database making sure you've got some key bits of information. So one of the obstacles we found was that we weren't initially saving the encrypted NHS number that is given to you when you enter some patient information onto the audit tool, and that meant when we were getting our follow-up data we were struggling to find out which patient that information belonged to. So on your own spreadsheet, make sure that you're also saving the encrypted NHS number alongside the patient details, as well as the start date of the Libre education, and if it were to be stopped, the stopping date of that as well. And I guess the other thing is getting your whole team involved. So within your diabetes service, try and get the whole team involved in doing the referral forms, completing the audit paperwork, and also completing the follow-up forms. So that can either be done on paper forms in clinics, which is what we do here at Derby. So whenever someone that's on NHS Libres come through, we will do the follow-up form in clinic for them. but you can actually also get your whole team access to the Audit tool online. So get them with a login detail so that you can actually do that live in clinic. So you would be able to log in and then complete the follow-up form as you're seeing that person in the clinic, which helps take a step away in terms of having to then update that information from paper forms onto the tool later on. So a bit of admin support, getting your whole team involved in the referrals and the audit data collection. And that will help to make sure that all of the information we're collecting around the benefits of the FreeStyle Libre are captured.
And finally, any thoughts on how you support users with education?
Yeah, so we try and deliver some initial education in our startup sessions, but that's usually just kind of a brief introduction into how to use the device. So we signpost them to information that's available online. So there's the Diabetes Technology Network videos and modules that we will refer them to, that they can either watch on YouTube as sort of full webcasts, or they can dip into the individual modules that might be relevant to them by going onto the Diabetes Technology Network website. And we also give them a bit of a quick start guide with just the top tips on starting the device. And that's kind of their first port of call in terms of the information leaving the session.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, Nicola. We'll now move on to look at how we analyse the Libre data.